In this video, I'll be showing you why EG Sigma's estimating with PlanSwift's takeoff is the best framing estimating system. I'll cover information that will give you a better understanding of how the programs work great together, and will showcase one of the fastest ways to create a completed framing estimate. To get started, we will be using data from some Sigma libraries to create a work breakdown structure for our estimate. Then we will do our takeoffs in PlanSwift to generate our quantities. Here are the steps you should follow. Step 1. Set up a Sigma library of components with prices. You can create single unit items as well as assembly items. I would recommend that you start by creating a library of single units, then over time, populate a separate library for assemblies. Each time you generate an assembly in an estimate, you can drag and drop it into your assemblies library for future use. Here's an example of creating an assembly and adding it to a library. To begin, I'll give my assembly a name and corresponding unit. Double-click on the name to go down a level in my work breakdown structure, where I'll add my assembly components. Next, I'll drag and drop items from my single unit library that contains framing components with prices. For this example, I'll add 8-foot 2x4s for studs, 12-foot 2x4s for top plate, and 12-foot pressure-treated 2x4s for the bottom plate, also known as the sill. Make sure to add any other general components such as nails or glue if they are needed. After I've added all the components I know I'll be using, I will modify my quantities for materials to match the resources required per linear foot. Normally for 16-inch on center studs, you would have a multiplier of 0.75 per linear foot, but I like to do 0.8 to account for corner studs. For the top plate, I will do 1 divided by 12 times 2 to account for a double top plate, and 1 divided by 12 for the bottom plate. For the nails, I'll do 4 nails per linear foot divided by 286, which is the approximate quantity per 5-pound box. You can also calculate labor in these assemblies. I will manually add a labor-framers item and drop the carpenter labor component underneath it. I'll turn on and utilize the production rate and production unit columns to allow me to set the appropriate production output for labor. To do this, right-click on any column heading and select Columns. Then check the 2 boxes next to production rate and production unit. Click back on the assembly name in the work breakdown structure to move back up a level. You now can input the labor production values for this wall system. I'll input that 2 carpenters can do 16 feet of wall per hour. If I use this assembly again in this estimate or in another estimate, I can easily modify these values if necessary. Once my assembly is done, I can drag and drop it into my assemblies library for future use. If you don't want to spend the time creating your libraries, you can always contact us here at Estimating America to purchase pre-built ones that are ready to go. Step 2. Create a new estimate in Sigma, preferably from a template you've created. I have a template here that I created from my framing library that I'll utilize in our video. Rename your project and save it as an estimate with your project name. If you're not there already, navigate to the Content tab. I'll expand my work breakdown structure by clicking this button so I can see all the components and assemblies that need takeoff quantities. Step 3. Open your blueprints in PlanSwift. Be sure to analyze the specs of your project and add or remove components to your Sigma estimate either from your libraries or by creating them. Do this until you've populated your estimate with all the framing systems and items that will be used on your project. Step 4. Go through each of your blueprint pages and make sure you scale them appropriately. I prefer to use the manual scale method as it maintains the integrity of your takeoff data if the pages were ever altered from their original scaled size. Step 5. Select the page in PlanSwift you wish to begin your takeoffs on. I will start with the foundation plan, since I know there is some framing in the crawl space. Now switch back over to Sigma. Helpful tip: you can easily bounce between the programs by using the Alt plus Tab keys, or even better would be to use 2 monitors. To start your takeoffs, select the line you wish to get a quantity for, navigate to the PlanSwift tab, then click the appropriate takeoff tool in Sigma, and it will launch the takeoff window in PlanSwift. Make any necessary modifications in the input window, then point and click to do the takeoff. That was for the pony wall and the crawl space. I'll do another one here for the sill plate around the perimeter. Once your takeoffs are done, you can click the refresh page button and it will populate the quantity fields. You need to remember that clicking the refresh page button will update all the displayed quantity fields with their matching PlanSwift quantity. So if you make modifications after your original takeoff, you need to click the button again to update the quantity. I want to emphasize, the refresh page button will only update the visible quantities. It will not update all the quantities on the whole project, so remember to click the refresh button before leaving this section. If you do forget to update, you can always navigate back here and press the button and it will still work. I'll continue to repeat these steps for each of the components until all my takeoffs are done. If I have components that need special inputs, such as my roof sheathing needing a pitch, I can utilize the drop-down menu to select the roof area tool and then add the pitch value in the PlanSwift input window. Step 6. Once your takeoffs are done, review item prices in the Resources tab to make sure your costs are correct. The information displayed will change depending on where you are selected in your work breakdown structure. Select the very top, and it will display all the resources needed for your entire project. If you want to remove decimals and just show whole numbers, you can click the Roundup Quantities button. Step 7. Review the Summary tab and make any desired changes to your markups. I'll go ahead and add some percentages for profit and for overhead using the automatic markup feature. You will notice I have a validation warning in my example here. I will click this link to see what the problems are with my estimate. In this case, I forgot to add the prices I was waiting on for the manufactured trusses. Sigma is warning me they have a value of 0 in the price. I can double-click these line items to navigate to the exact location of the item in my estimate and update the prices. This is just one feature showing how Sigma can significantly enhance your accuracy when estimating. Step 8. Export your estimate to a proposal using the customer letter report. I like to change the modules in output to include subheadings. Click through the prompts and make any desired changes. Review the final numbers, and if all looks good, your estimate is complete. If you have any questions about how to use Sigma, you can always contact us here at Estimating America. And lastly, if this video was helpful, please click the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your friends.